All right, Nick, in this video, we're going to focus on one more area that you've improved as a hitter, and it's another thing that we've hammered home a lot over the last couple of weeks, and that's simply what we do with our lower half during phase one of our swing. How we keep our hips closed into our stride and into our landing position. Because we know if our hips stay closed when that front foot lands, we're going to have a whole lot more coil and power in this midsection. And so I'll begin the video by showing you what you did a couple of weeks ago on July 11th and what was wrong with it, compare it to what we did today on August 1st, and then we'll wrap up by comparing you to a couple of major league hitters. So on the left-hand side, we're going to watch it here from your stance position, and we're going to see your negative move right there, and you're going to watch right here as you take your stride how your hips begin to leak out. They're closed there, but once you start to stride forward and get into your landing, right there you can see them open up. And that's a problem because we're eliminating some of the coil in our hips. So when we go to rotate our hips, we're not going to get as much power through our rotation. Now in contrast, on the right-hand side, as we watch you take your negative move and get into your stride, when you land here, you can see how great of a job you do staying closed with your hips. Notice here how the hips are closed, facing home plate. Notice on the left-hand side how they're kind of leaking away that way. Big difference. And as a result of this, you're getting more coil in your midsection, and I think you can see that right here. And as a result, when you go to swing, there's going to be a whole lot more power in your hip rotation, and you're going to be able to drive the baseball. Now that I've pointed that out, what I want to do really quickly is pull up a couple of major league hitters, and we'll begin with Chase Utley. And we'll watch him here in his stance. You see he begins with a slightly open stance. But when he begins that negative move, you'll see the hips start to close. And as he takes his stride and gets landed, we can see that the hips are really closed right there. And that looks pretty much exactly like what you're doing right there. So you're in a great lower half position when you get to the end of your stride. Take a look at another hitter, Miguel Cabrera. He starts with his feet a little bit more square. When he gets into his negative move right here, those hips start to load. And as he takes his stride and lands, those hips stay closed. And I would argue here that you look a lot like Miguel Cabrera in terms of what you're doing with your feet, your knees, and your hips. So that's a really fantastic job, Nick. You got to be excited about that. Let's keep working on that. Don't let it slide. Continue to do the hard work that you've been doing, and you're going to continue to see results and progress.